Hey Ravens, and welcome to Season 0 Rogue Diablo 4 Early Access. This is the end of my day 1. I've had about 2.5 hours sleep since the release launch, and here we are now. If you saw my previous video on my plans to start, I've been following those. As you can see here, I do have my mount, so now I'm going back to give some gearing, get all the renown, get the altars, etc. We're in a dungeon at the moment, so I can show you how my rogue plays out. As you can see here, I've got the Act 4 quest, Gathering Storm. I've got tons of side quests I'm in the middle of doing. I've only got 3 left for Fractured Peaks. As you can see here, I've got tons for Skog's Glen and Dry Steps, which I've only just entered. And if we go onto the map, we find, go to Fractured Peaks. There we go. So I'm working my way through Fractured Peaks. I've got 6 out of 7 waypoints. I've got to find the 2 strongholds. I know where they are, I just haven't gone and done them yet. And I'm working my way through getting all of the altars in a methodical way, in getting them close to the side quests I had, then doing the dungeons, doing any cellars I come across as well. And yeah, so that's where we're at right now. So yeah, that's that. Let's have a look at gear. I haven't min-maxed my gear. I've just picked up what I've been finding. This is the only weapon I've imprinted, which is the Twisting Blades one, because it's from the Codex, and this really does make this build pop. I picked up this off the floor, and it's been brilliant because that stun is amazing, and especially when I'm dealing with bosses. It's on a kind of ish DPS weapon. I found better, but I really don't want to rip off this imprint yet because it's expensive to put back on. I've got 1.3 mil gold, but to do upgrades and stuff, it's really expensive. As you can see, most of my gear is still rare because it's changing almost every time I do a dungeon. So I'm not going to go focus too much on the gear. I just have a quick flick and then you can look at it yourself. I've got rubies in my armor. At the moment they are the max level I can craft. I've got a lot of plus ranks to various skills on the gear. That's what I've been aiming for at the moment. Stats I'm not really worried about because I'm not on the Paragon boards yet. I'm still only level 42. There's that one you've already seen. There's that one you've already seen. There's this weapon. Then we've got the jewellery. Again, I'm just trying to get damage for places. I'm not min-maxing at the moment. It's very hard to replace this amulet because it's got +1 to all agility and subterfuge skills and the minus energy cost reduction, which is huge. So at the moment, again, I found better resist amulets, but replacing those ranks is just something I don't really want to do at the moment, so I've kept them. Haven't been done any of the PvP stuff yet at all. I'm running close to my obol limit, so I'm going to spend those down to 300 again, and then I'll build them back up again and then spend down to 300. I'm trying to keep it about 300 ready for when I'm going to re-roll into the druid as per the plan. So let's look at it this way. It's pretty much the same build. That's the wrong button, Garth. It's pretty much the same you've seen in most places. I did issue a copy of my skill order on a Google sheet. I can show you what that looks like now, but not in Google, in Office. So you can see the blue ones are the ones I've already got. So we started off with Blade Shift because it is actually quicker in Act 1 than using going straight for Puncture, which is what I did. Got to the end of Act 1, ran about level 15 to 18, somewhere around there, and then we took Puncture, and then we started removing Blade Shift, and then it was just in one sitting. We took Puncture, removed Blade Shift, Enhanced Puncture, removed Enhanced Blade Shift, Fundamental Puncture, removed Blade Shift, and then got Methodical Shadow Step, and then we went through this. Now when we got around to Blended Shadow Imbue, I'd already had enough Paragon points, sorry, not Paragon points, I apologize, Renown points, so I skipped Exploit and went straight into Shadow Clone. And then my next Renown point went into Prime Shadow Clone as per here, and then as I leveled up, I went down to Shadow Imbuement, got Adrenal Rush, then got Haste, and then once we got down to Haste, we went then back up to get 1 point of Exploit to then get into Momentum, and picked up Supreme Shadow Clone. So this is where we are now. We've gone through all of this lot, down through Precise Imbuement. We're now looking at Malice. I have actually got I haven't got Expectant. These ones are the ones I've already got, so I picked up Protector before I left Fractured Peaks, and then I picked these up as I was close to the dungeons on my way through Scosglen, and then I rushed to get the mount because I was only a little bit far away by the time we got to this dungeon, and I haven't done any dungeons in Dry Steppes as of yet. So let's now show you the build in action. So we've got Puncher. As I said, it's all on the spreadsheet there, plus all the ranks. And we've got Dark Shroud as well. Without this, I would have died so many times. I've had one death. It's not deathless. I am in softcore. I've had one death, and that's because of the known error where the keyboard or the buttons stop working. I've heard it from people on all different platforms, whether they're using controller or keyboard, that sometimes the buttons they just stop working, and it's really close. People dying. I've heard a couple of people die in hardcore. I died on myself. I was running through the wild, just skipping a load of packs, and all of a sudden I couldn't press any buttons but the healing potion. I tried to get to the town by using I only had one evade at the time, but the insects were kept on dazing me all the time, and I just died in the middle of a desert. So that really annoyed me because I was trying to do this deathless. So technically, through no fault of my own, I died. So it's not true deathless, but it is not my error deathless. It's due to a known game bug that, in my opinion, Blizz should have already sorted out by now, because this is causing deaths across the entirety of the game. With that in mind, let's go through this dungeon. So we've got a quest here and here as well, which is why I'm doing the side quests. I've got the movement speed buff for Dark Shroud at the moment because this is not an end game build. Yes, I use my ultimate all the time. It just gets things done quicker. I've got a new keyboard and a new mouse. Unfortunately, they're a lot noisier than my old one, so I apologise, but there's nothing I can do about it. I've tried playing with the settings to get them to be quieter. I can't do it. So unfortunately, if I'm going to be showing gameplay, you're going to hear the keyboard and the mouse clicking away as I do. Not much I can do about that. Apologies. So this is pretty much how it goes as a shadow imbued rogue. We just run around and kill things quite quickly usually. There's not much that stops us, and I'm not playing it fully properly. I don't have dash. Dash will be part of the end game build, but I'm just leveling at the moment, so the idea is just to get through as quickly as possible. I could have gone through, I could be in World Tier 3 by now with Sacreds and all that kind of stuff, but I'm not maining on this character. This character was to League start so I could get onto a Druid, and after the mass amounts of grind I've put in, I'm not quite ready to switch over to the Druid yet. Also, I've noticed that a lot of people are changing the way they've built the Druid, so I'm keeping my eye on that as well until a really nice build comes out that I want to play, and then I'll do that then if I've got all of the altars etc. by that point. So I'm just going to go through here. I haven't met the Butcher yet. Every time I did in the beta I always died, so I'm hoping not to meet him now. I've seen a couple of people, or the streamer I was watching, they're playing hardcore. They've seen him twice, early pre-level 20, and they ran away both times. I'm frozen. And they haven't seen him since, so not such a good thing at the moment. Again, like I said, I haven't seen him, and I don't particularly want to. In all honesty, if he did turn up, then I would likely run and try and get out. I haven't got a scroll of escape. I think that's only a hardcore thing, maybe. Same with the death potion. I think that's only for hardcore because I've not seen one for softcore at all, which I think is annoying. They shouldn't just have those for hardcore people. Softcore people don't like dying either. Or maybe I've just been unlucky and not found the recipe, but I know the streamer I was watching, they have found 6 scrolls of escape already, and 4 or 5 bonus of the iterations of the death potion, anti-death potion. So I'm a bit annoyed I haven't found one, if they are indeed in the softcore version. Again, my thoughts, personal opinions are they should be. There's no reason why they shouldn't be. Maybe I've just been unlucky. I kind of hit my ultimate on cooldown when I see it's there. Again, it's just to get through everything quicker. I try and line it up for the bosses. I have been known to just take a stretch break if I'm about to go on a boss and it's on a cooldown. So we then just wait 20-30 seconds or so. I'm a bit annoyed because I set out my perfect preferences and keyboard setup in the betas. I even copied the preferences file from those to put into the main game file, and it hasn't made a difference at all. So I'm really annoyed because I'm having to find out the setup again, and it just hasn't worked. So I'm a bit frustrated at that. I spent all that time working out which buttons to do what, and it's just all gone. It's all been deleted. Can't even dig them out of the files. Sucks. Which is why the rotation is out of order, because I'm having to learn it all over again. I keep turning that quest off. I don't want to track that quest. I'm not going to be doing it yet. There we go. I do like the way this enemies one works now. In the closed alpha and the betas, it was horrible. You literally had to run around finding things. But you tend to get these explosions of enemies where they just appear next to you, and it's like half the enemies that you're missing just jump you. You get a little bit of a warning, which is kind of cool. But ultimately, as a rogue, it doesn't bother me. I just kind of... There goes the stun grenade, which I've been forgotten to use. Kills them a lot quicker. Is another dungeon event? No, okay. These captains with the shields are a bit annoying. Oh, excuse me, I've got a soda on the go. Apologies for that. I keep on hitting 1 for my shadow step. It's because my movement skill and Path of Exile is on 1, and for me shadow step is a movement skill, but I've tried putting the potion on Q where my fingers are, and then having the potion vice versa, the potion on Q because that's the one I'm hitting a lot, and then having 1 as thing. It just doesn't work. I still get it wrong, so I'm having to try to get it correct. Doesn't always work. I've often found myself low on potions because I've been hitting shadow step, it's not working. I've realised I've been hitting the potion button and vice versa. The absolute worst thing about shadow step and dash is you actually need to target a mob, which is annoying. Right, let's get through this. Get this dungeon done, kill the boss. Come on, there we go. Oh, I do hate this kill all. It takes so long. I prefer the other ones, they're quicker. I don't have to run around all the way. I'm surprised I haven't got the explosion of incoming horde or something. I can't remember exactly what it says now, but it says something like that. You've probably already witnessed it in your own games. No, not this event. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. It can stay there. These events proc way too often. It doesn't make the long dungeons interesting. It makes them even longer, and I'm not one for it. I just want to get in the dungeon, do the dungeon, and get out. I don't want to be wandering around. Not at this stage, anyway. Maybe, you know, when you're grinding them out, maybe just to break it up a bit. But in the early stages, I just want to get it done. Especially when I'm doing a video, because this is going to be a long. Here we go. Got the. I'm not a fan of this technique, but keep changing it all the time's a nightmare. When I'm out in the wild and in well, basically anytime I'm not on a boss, I prefer the combo points. But it's when you're on a boss, you want it. So, but to change it all the time is. I don't know if there is a cost. Probably is, but. It's a nightmare to change it because you can't proc it. I mean, sometimes I just want to basic attack something down because it's not worth going through the rotation, because they just die in a couple of hits of puncture, and then you got max, you know, you got all unlimited energy and there's nothing around because you've killed it all. Oh, killed it all. Not sure why a door takes as many hits as a mob does, but not my game, I suppose. Oh, dip below there, that's Dark Shroud wearing off. I found that as you get through the higher levels, Rogue is very squishy. As soon as your Dark Shrouds drop off, you take so much damage. Again, I know my gear isn't optimized, you can probably tell that from the gear I've showed you. It's needs replacing in a lot of it, but the skill ranks are so nice. Do tend to use my potions a lot, sometimes not by accident either. Okay, we've got one over here somewhere. Get rid of that one. I pick up everything, and especially I pick up everything in a dungeon. Out in the wild, I'm a bit more particular. But oh, come on, Shadow Step. But in a dungeon, I just pick up everything until my bags are full, and then I'd start dropping normal items, then blue items, and yellow items. I see if they're any good, and if they're not any good, I start comparing prices. It can slow me down a little bit. But I need the money. I've seen how much things cost. Like to imprint an item was like 40,000 gold, and I only had 12. So did a dungeon, a couple of quests. Well, did a couple of quests in a dungeon, got the currency, and I was able to imprint. There we go. This then proc that small explosion. It was there. All the mobs coming to me. It's kind of cool. There we go. And that's the build. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll do another one probably in a couple of days. Not much is going to change really. I'll just be farming in Fractured Peaks for more stuff, more altars, etc. Oh, I haven't gone through my cosmetics. Come on, let me get to COVID shard, thank you. Haven't gone through my MTX. Do that quickly. Wrong button. There's a horse, just to prove I've got him out. There we go, horsey. I haven't put anything on it because I've gone with a bit of a storyline with this character. It's a rogue, so it doesn't want to be anything that draws attention to itself. So we've gone very bland, dark clothing, bland bow, bland sword. Everything's kind of unrecognizable. It's someone wearing black clothing with a black sword, a black dagger, and a bow, with a facial mask. Yeah, that's the whole thing. So for the hood, we've got fur-lined hood, fur-lined robe, Coven's gloves, Coven's trunks, and Coven's slippers with this grey wheel, as they call it. I would prefer the whole thing to be black, just everything black clothing, but apparently you can't have that. It's alternate pigments, which I find is a bit whatever. And then the items, with the bow is a forgotten bow, which I thought was apt. The dagger is this Chris, and then the sword is the saber. No back trophy because we don't want to be recognised, but I do have the wolf pack there. And that's it. There we go. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll do some more in the future with the progress of this character, and then some for my other characters as I go through this season 0. Pretty much going to be focusing on Diablo 4. It's a new game, and that's where it's going to be for at least a couple of weeks, I think. I don't know if I do any Path of Exile videos in that time. Watch my channel, find out. Have a good one, Ravens. I'll see you in the next one.